Hey, my name is Ashawn Whitfield, and I'm here to present to you my senior project. Pause. Within my senior project, I have two different components. The two components is my coat of arms and my speech. Within my coat of arms, I have four different quadrants. These four quadrants it has my Army logo within the first quadrant. It has my Nike Tech logo within the second quadrant. It has my Zodiac sign within the third quadrant. And within the fourth quadrant, it has the Golden State Warrior logo. Within the first quadrant, my Army logo, I use the colors black and white for the background within the Army logo sign, and in the background of that, I use silver. Okay. The color silver represents high tech, modern, and elegance. It also represents riches and wealth. And that's the first quadrant. The second quadrant of my coat of arms consists of my Nike check. The Nike check is something I like to wear, and that's most of the clothing I wear, such as my shoes and such as day-to-day things that I have. The Nike check represents style, it represents fashion and modern day use. I use the color black in the background to represent enthusiasm. I haven't out the word.
Is that a word?
No.
Enthusiastic.
Enthusiasm and power for the color black. The third quadrant, my zodiac sign is a Gemini. I used a Japanese colored symbol in my zodiac sign, and I use the colors red and blue. The colors red and blue represent strength, power, and determination for red, and for blue it represents wisdom, confidence, and intelligence. Alright, my fourth and final quadrant represents the Golden State Warriors logo. I put that logo for my fourth quadrant in my coat of arms because, one, I love the basketball team, I love anything that has to do with the Golden State, I love the colors, and I love California in general. I also want to live there one day, so that's the reason why I chose that as my fourth quadrant. In the background of my fourth quadrant for the Golden State Warriors, I use the color gold. The color gold represents wealth as well. It also represents the confidence and wisdom. And it also represents the color bronze, because bronze means stealthiness and strength. So I use that as the background as well. Alright. Now I'm going to get into my speech. Pause it. Okay, within my speech, I picked two colleges, and the two colleges of choice that I picked was Augusta University and Georgia Institute of Technology. Within these two colleges, they have a tuition of $12,212 per year in state for Georgia Institute of Technology, and out of state roughly $29,000. And the tuition for Augusta University roughly in state is $8,000 something dollars, and out of state over $26,000 something dollars. The diversity level within Augusta University for a ratio to male to female is about 65% female and 35% male, according to the Geographic website. And the diversity towards Georgia Institute of Technology, the diversity between male and female is 62% to 38% male to female. Alright, the degree I'll have to require to have to be IT Tech, which is what I want to be, is a bachelor's degree at minimum, at maximum a master's degree. To be an IT Tech, you have to daily work on computers and work on technology in general, and as you go day to day, you have to work and troubleshoot through things to see if it works or it doesn't work, and so most of the time it's just a matter of cutting it on and cutting it off. and it can fix a lot of problems. Being an information technology specialist, you have to be able to cope with people and be able to have intrapersonal skills and intrapersonal skills, be able to talk to people. You got to be able to understand their problems. You got to be able to let them know that it might be a day or two before their technology might be fixed, or so forth and so on. One of the major problems that you run into on a daily basis as an information technology specialist is the fear of shutdown. And if shutdown happens, such as the internet connection goes out, sometimes it takes days, up to a week for it to come back up. And that can slow down a lot of production within your job. That's the stressful side of the job. The least stressful side of the job comes when you're just chill, because most of the time you get your work done pretty easy and you have a lot of leeway, downtime. The salary within an hour, hourly salary is about $25 an hour, and roughly a year starting wages you make $57,000 a year, and with experience and with a degree you can get up to like $100,000 a year. Myself, whenever I did my mentor hours, I went to the Boys and Girls Club and I helped the little kids and showed them the different components of a computer, how it works and what you do, and to help them be engaged in what I was doing by seeing if they can answer the questions correctly or know what they were talking about. I rewarded them with candy or so forth and so on if they got it right, or if they got it wrong, then I helped them understand what was all in the computer and what parts of the computer was what. The biggest thing I saw in improvement, such as, was the kids. They like working with technology and they like to use it to play games, but not only games, they learn a lot of things such as Microsoft Word and Adobe Reader, and they learn how to process different software on a computer. When I was at the Boys and Girls Club, I got all 10 of my hours from Miss Lawana, but at the same time, I had got 1 hour with Mr. Allen at the high school working in programming DRS site on the computers and for the ELCT testing on the laptops to help the middle schoolers. So not only I worked with computers like hands-on, but I worked with software as well. And for my product, I'm going to tell you about the different parts of the computer and what they do, and roughly how much they cost if you want to fix or buy or make your own computer. To make your own computer, you really can spend roughly between the prices of $500 and $1,000 on parts just to make a computer, and you can save a lot of money than just going out and buying a computer most of the time. The main components you need in a computer is the motherboard. It's the most important part of the computer. It cycles through the whole entire computer, and it's what makes the computer work. You need the motherboard to match the size of the case that you have, because the case and the motherboard, if they don't match, then the whole computer won't work. So when you buy, according to, you must buy a motherboard that matches a case, and so forth and so on. Most of the time when you buy a case, it comes with a power source. That's another thing you need, because either built in or most of the time you have to buy it separately. Those are 3 different parts of the computer already. You also need a CPU. A CPU is the most expensive part of the computer, because with a CPU, the better you want your computer to be, the more faster you want it to be, the better you want it to work. That's the more money you want to spend on a CPU. The CPU is a square, small, little disc-like object, and it can roughly range between the prices of $200 to $300 sometimes by itself. But that's where you want to put your money at, within the bulk of your money within the CPU. Everything else you can roughly get up to minimum. So that's why I said your prices can range between $500 and $1,000 depending on how good of a CPU you have. When looking for a CPU, the best CPU you can look for is i-Class, a i3, a i5, or i7. You don't really want anything like a Pentium or a Celeron, because those type of CPUs might be Intel, but at the same time they run slow and it's not so well. When you buy your memory for a computer, you buy between the gigs of 4 gigs and 8 gigs of memory, because you want more memory. And if you have 4 gigs of memory, you can buy 2 separate RAM cards that had 2 gigs of memory apiece, or you can buy 4 separate that have 2 gigs apiece to get up to 8. You can even buy 2 with 4. So it all just depends. And most of the time you get deals on them. You can buy in between and so on. Another part that you'll need is your heatsink. The heatsink normally comes with the CPU, but if it doesn't, you'll have to buy that separately. You also have to buy paste to put the CPU on the heatsink when you put the computer all together. And the last part, I believe, is the hard drive. The hard drive is another part of your computer, because when you save your pictures and stuff to your hard drive, it can easily be messed up. So when you take the hard drive out, you can't just you can't open it up, because if you do that, you completely damage your hard drive. You're going to go back and buy another one. Whenever you're transferring pictures, make sure you save it to the CPU or to the memory cards within the computer, so whenever you get ready to remove the hard drive, you don't mess it up and you don't lose your information that you had on your computer. So pretty much all the parts of the computer are the hard drive, the memory cards, the CPU fan, the motherboard, the case, the heatsink, and the CD drive, and the power source. And them are all the different parts of the computer. And that is my product. And now that concludes my senior project, and that's the 3 different components of my senior project. And I am done.